Hello everyone, today I am demonstrating basic watercolor painting technique. This is a gradient technique. How to do this technique? I'll show you in the exercise. Let's do a simple workout first. And first, draw a simple shape with a pencil. And now I make a mixture of water and paint on the pan. And you can see I use for palette a plate, a simple plate. Okay, I put a lot of water and if you a little bit fine. And now I will make a gradient from dark color to light color. I will make a gradient from orange color with orange color, and I make first dark color for this. I mixed a lot of water and yellow and a little bit red color. Okay, now I'm ready and we start to do this. And you can see I make short vertical strokes with a brush. And you can see it has a drop forms at the bottom of the stroke. You see this. And this is very important point in this technique. Now I collect this drop with a brush, you see. And now I put more water or mix it and make again the same. You see, I make short vertical stroke. I have a drop in the end, and later I keep all. And again, more water, and again. I move from top to down. A little bit more water, and again the same. And the most important in this technique, move it from top to bottom. And you need move it only one time. You need make only one layer and waiting for this layer will be dry. If you want to change something, you need to waiting for this layer be dry. And now I make another one, but I will move it from light color to dark. I make the same. short vertical strokes, move it from top to bottom to down, and I apply more color. Every time I apply more color to mixture, and more and more and more and more. And the most important in this technique, what I said before, you need move it only top to down and only one time. If you want to change something, if you don't like something, you need wait for change this line because paper need to be dry for you put line again. Okay, we made one exercise, simple exercise from dark to light color and another gradient to light color to dark color. And now we make another exercise. I will make all the same, but I will make gradient to orange color to purple color. And I start from orange color and again I add short vertical strokes and move it from top to down. And now I mix purple color in my palette. I use for palette simple flat. I talked before, or I said before, and now I start to add a little bit purple color. And for this technique, it's very important work quickly. And patient. And again, short vertical stroke, short vertical stroke, and more down. Okay. You can see it's not so difficult. It's a simple exercise, but of course you need a few practice for make this gradient very good. And now I want to show you how we use this technique in watercolor plot. Come. Okay. And now let's apply this method of watercolor painting. I choose a simple plot. You can see this is a landscape with a lot. I made a pencil drawing for this landscape, and now I apply paint to paper. You remember that the paint must be applied from top to bottom. And again, I okay. And again, I make short strokes, vertical strokes, and I make gradient from orange to purple on the sky, and from purple to orange gradient in the same. And I need to work faster. And now I start to add a little bit purple color. And for this part, a little bit more purple color. And now I continue to make mountain. And I use more darker color, purple. And you can see we can make gradient and horizontal. And now I make a little bit different color. The mountain, I add a little bit red color. And here I add purple again. I mix it ultramarine dark blue and red color for purple. Okay. And for sun, I add yellow color. I continue to add color tools here, and here orange color, and I can put a little bit purple first. And next orange. Here more purple. And again orange. And now I make here, and later I add color on the board, and paper will be dry. And how I said before, it's important. If you want to change something, you need to wait for first layer will be dry. And you can change a little bit color. And here light from sun. And again yellow. A little bit orange. And from layer pad a little bit more purple color. And here you can make a few horizontal strokes for show it see a texture. And now I need to wait when paper will be dry, and later continue and paint board, and maybe change a little bit sky. Okay, I check it. Paper. Yes, now I can continue, and now I want to add again color to the sky. And again I add vertical shot strokes, and I make gradient from yellow to purple, and now I add a little bit more red color. And how I said before, in this technique you have to work quickly for make beautiful gradient. And more red color. And now I can add purple color. And you can see I never come back. If you want to change something, you need to wait. And now more dark color for mountain. I move horizontal. And here mountain have red color and gradient from red to purple. And I want to add a little bit color. See? And I add a little bit line. To see for solid texture. And now I have to do all the details. Payne board. And we will finish this exercise. And again I use watercolor, but I change a little bit shade of color. And add a little bit details. For details, it's very important to use a tiny brush. Again, I check it sky. I'm not sure, but I think I need to, yes, I need to wait a few for add details this part. And now paper is dry and I can continue and finish. Oh no, not. No, need a little bit more time for continuing. Yes, this technique have to have a lot of passion. But I can have one more like for Sienna because this part is dry. And here I make a little bit gradient again with different shadow. And you can see I make these horizontal strokes for show the texture of the, and I change color, and this part I add more orange color. I need make a little bit contrast in this part for show it this uh, light from sun. And here I continue with orange color. Okay. And now I hope it's okay. I hope it's dry. Yes. Because sometimes it's nice when color mixes, but when you don't want this, it's got big problem. Okay. The last details. And I think for this moment, we finish this exercise. So, today we made simple exercise in basic watercolor technique. And I often use this technique in my paintings. And thank you for your attention. Subscribe to my channel to see new interesting videos. And thank you and goodbye.